The first time that we knew that Tyler was doing heroin when he was checking in to his last treatment. We did not know he was doing heroin. Because when he was passed out, Rick and I would look over his body and we wouldn't see needle marks. And I remember we used to say to each other, thank God it's not heroin. We didn't know you could snort it.
I was in 6th grade. We had stole some of those little bottles from the gas station, those little travel bottles.
I didn't really know what exactly he was doing, but just like the choices he was making was kind of questionable.
You know, we went to football practice in 6th grade, drunk.
We looked back and what we thought was normal was we were really sick.
I remember when he got arrested, and it was underage drinking at 12 years old.
And I ignored it. Didn't address it, didn't do anything, ignored it.
The next year, in 7th grade, I was smoking pot already, and by the time I hit high school, I was doing pills, and then, by the time I left high school, I was doing heroin.
And I felt that if I ignored it, it would go away. But it didn't.
Almost every day, my family was falling apart in a big way.
It was just constant fighting at home, and so I just involved myself in whatever I could to not be home.
The guy I was getting my pills from was like, heroin's the same thing, it's just a lot cheaper, and that first time it was just, it's like, wow, this is it, this is what I want. I don't want pills anymore, I don't want this, I want this.
Starting to lie for him, because Rick didn't know.
I think we all were just so fed up with it, we didn't want to deal with it. Instead of deal with it, we just ignored it.
In the beginning, I wanted to help him so much. I was talking to him, and when I realized he started to have a problem, I would talk to him. I'd talk to my parents. I'd be like, something needs to change. You guys can't just keep allowing this. And then I gave up because nobody was listening to me.
And I remember her just saying to me, Mom, I can't do this anymore. And I said, I can't either. And she says, well, then start being the parent. And she walked out. And she was right.
All hell breaks loose. I turn 18 and I move out. I get my own apartment. I don't live with my family anymore. But I still get the calls from my mom. I still get the calls from him. Can you come pick me up out of jail?
Actually, when she really needed us, we weren't there for her. I guess the more I tried, the worse it got. Because then Sandy and myself, we were at each other's throats because of it.
I never believed I was addicted. I never believed that it had a hold of me. I always thought that it was, my right as a high schooler, my right as a kid to be able to do this stuff.
So I started hating myself for what I was doing. And then I started blaming myself for Tyler going down that path.
I knew I was hurting people, but I was a coward and I hid in drugs. I just became numb to the world.
Like, it would have been nice to live in my own home and not have to pay for my own stuff right away while I was going to college and working and everything. It would have been nice to live at home with my family, but I couldn't because of his choices.
Many times I personally could not get out of bed. Many times I didn't want to because I didn't know what the day was going to bring. I didn't know if this was the day that we'd get that phone call. I didn't know if this was the day that Rick was going to leave. I didn't know.
We had tried multiple different treatments, our family, and nothing was working, so I didn't think being sober would ever be possible. I didn't think, getting out of this would ever be possible. So I started to wonder if my only way out of this would be death. Maybe if I die, maybe my family can finally get some peace. Maybe if I die, maybe my family can finally lead the lives they were supposed to lead without me having to drag them down anymore. And I believed it to my core. I thought that was my only way out.
I had the music plan for his funeral. I had his clothes planned for his funeral.
And I'd wake up in the morning wondering, why am I still here? What's the point? I have nothing here anymore. I've done too much damage. I can't come back from this. And I would start to pray that I wouldn't make it to the next day. And I was on the verge of taking my own life when I got a call from my family giving me, an ultimatum to go to treatment or never see him again. And that changed everything.
counselor said to myself that we had to be there, and I'm like, why? Because it was his problem, not my problem. And realizing that, you know what, he's right. It is my problem, and I do have to be part of this for his recovery.
Tyler, in his heart, knew that I had changed, that I wasn't going to, if he called crying, Mom, pick me up, I wasn't going to. We did tell him that this time that if he chose to walk out against advice, that he was on his own.
We never learned what happened after the drugs. We knew that heroin was bad and that it could kill you. We knew that, you know, doing acid was bad and it can kill you, but we never knew why. You know, we didn't see the consequences. We didn't see the effects on the families. We didn't see how much damage it did or how much addicts hated their lives. We never saw any of that.
You have to mentally, spiritually, and financially come to an end in the road and say, this is enough.
When was the first time you can remember that you had hope?
September 21st of 2008.
What happened?
He went into treatment the last time. But there was something different. Maybe it's because I felt different. I didn't just think that they were going to fix him.
He wasn't bucking the system anymore, that he was staying put, he was doing what he was supposed to do.
I felt it was a family problem, and that if we were going to get Tyler into recovery, we all had to change, and we all had to face what we had to do that.
The things I've accomplished since I've been sober are things that I never thought would be possible. You know, I'm married, I have a son, I have my own business, plus I partner on another. I mean, things are awesome. And
Last year was probably the biggest time that I've seen him turn around to be who he is today, up until that point. I think it took that many years for him mentally to catch up, because he started using it at such a young age.
When you see that parent and you look into their eyes of that parent that lost their son or daughter, how does it make you feel?
I feel terrible that they don't get to experience their loved one in recovery. We just got lucky. We're not better than any other family. We just got lucky for the time being.
How's your marriage?
Right now,
Our marriage is good now.
I like him again. I like him again. I do. I do. We're close. We're honest. We talk all the time about things now.
We spend a lot more time as a family together traveling, which is usually is a lot of fun.
We're not a perfect family. We still have our problems and we still argue about things, but I feel like it's a healthier family than it used to be.
I haven't dodged any bullets. I'm still outrunning the same bullet I was, 8 years ago. I just have to work at outrunning that bullet. The day I stop trying to be sober is the day that bullet will catch back up with me and I won't be here anymore.
I'm finally proud of him, very proud. Actually, I just took him on as a business partner, and I would have never thought of that years ago.
But for some reason I'm here and the things we were doing are good. So for right now, I'm not gonna question it. I'm gonna keep doing what I can to help everybody I can.